Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and welcome to another Airbus A380 flight. Today we're flying from Inibuild's brand new London Heathrow Premium down to their almost still brand new Dubai. I'm really looking forward to this one, as we are going to have a great flight across Europe, Turkey, and then eventually Iran, with hopefully some very scenic views outside in the just marvelous and recently updated fly-by-wire Airbus A380. So join me inside the cockpit as we're about to start to set up our flight. We're going to start, as always, by powering the aircraft up, so safety checks, thrust levers idle, engine masters off, start select on norm wipers off. Then we can check for our battery voltages right up here. So let's see, we've got to ensure they're all above 25. And that's looking very good, so let's go ahead and power it up. Left to right. Here we go, and then the external 2, 3, 1, and 4. Okay, so while general power is getting applied to the aircraft, we can make good use of that time to have a look into our flight plan. So that's going to be it. We are going from Heathrow in almost a straight line to the border between Turkey and Iran, and then again from there in almost a straight line down towards Dubai. Significant weather chart. We have good weather until we pass the border of Austria down there, Austrian-Hungarian border. Then over here, number 1 is some moderate turbulence until flight level 400. Probably not going to get above that. And then finally we have good weather again on the rest of the flight. So overall very good conditions. If we take a look into the airport weather, we can see Heathrow is very good today, and Dubai is as well, with runway 30 being the active runway, promising some wonderful views on the approach in. Now, the weather down in Al Maktoum is pretty good as well. However, they do have some blowing dusts, typical weather for the area, to be honest, but nothing significant here, so Al Maktoum is a good alternate for us. So let's go into the flight plan. We are departing at 0910 and arriving at 1600 by the schedule, and if we leave on time we're going to be there like 12 minutes early, so that's all we can wish for. Our landing and takeoff weight are far enough away from any of their limits that we have all the options we want for any possible extra fuel. However, I don't really see much reason to take extra today. If we look into the flight plan down here, we can see that by going a little bit faster we could shave off some 16 minutes, but it would cost us 3.5 tons, and fuel isn't that cheap over here, so if we did that, yeah, we'd pay like $1,000 extra, so I see no reason for that. Now, if we go into the fuel, then we need 83.3 tons for our takeoff, plus 800 kilos taxi fuel. Well, if we round all of that up, 84 would work out for our flight, so I gotta say 84 looks quite okay. I want a little bit extra just in case we get to do a holding or two in Dubai, which happens there every now and then, so let's take 2,000 kilos on top. So if we make that 86 tons of fuel, then we should be absolutely safe to go. Well, and that's our fuel decision then, so 86 tons. Alright, our aircraft is powered up then, so let's turn on the IRS. Let's go ahead and do the acceptance. So we'll do the recall for 3 seconds, and there's nothing in there. Quick look at the status page, which is showing normal as well. Ooh, and the frame rates are once again a little bit variable, let's call it like that. Well, and then fire test is looking good. Let's start the APU. Alright, while the APU is starting, we can go down here into the OIS. So flight number is going to be UAE 7 Charlie November, and we are departing from London Heathrow with the destination Dubai, like that. And then let's import the Simri flight plan over here as well. Here we go, and that's looking very good. Alright, so down onto the chart menu then. And we want to use Navigraph charts from Heathrow, taxi. And then we do have some dedicated A380 charts down there. So taxiing and parking A380. Here we go. And then we can bring up our flight plan up here, Duttling on Juliet, which is on this chart right here. So we can pin that as well. and that's all the charts we need. The final thing for us to do now is our preliminary takeoff calculations, and for that we have to use the SimBrief calculator, since fly-by-wire doesn't have their own just yet. So here it is, Heathrow 9 right, and we take the full length, no intersections for us. So takeoff weight, I'm going to increase that a little bit, let's make that 441, because of the additional fuel we took. Flap setting optimum, bleeds, yeah, they can actually stay on, I do believe Emirates does that. And then we can calculate those takeoff datas. Flaps 1, 65 degrees, and speeds are looking good as well. Perfect. Alright. So with that done, let's go into our aircraft acceptance. Oxygen is looking good. Then we can check the hydraulics, which are full as well. And then we can check for the engine oil quantities. So we gotta turn on the FADEC up here. Come on, here we go. And the engine oil is looking splendid. Alright. So with that, the last thing to check is that our flaps and spoilers agree with the levers, park and brake is set, and the brake pressure indicator is working. Perfect. So with that out of the way, let's go right into the cockpit preparation procedures. So crew supply is coming on, the flight recorder is coming on as well. Then lights are set, signs coming on since refueling is complete, APU bleed on, and we want a decent temperature here in the cockpit, so let's set that up as well. Alright, up to the fuel panels. Remember, always turn on the main before the standby pumps, so that's normally left to right when turning them on, and right to left when turning them off. Here we go. Alright, on the maintenance panel, a couple of white lights are okay. And then on the right hand side over here, we do have temperature sensitive cargo in the front hold, which gotta go all the way down to the minimum. The aft hold has some livestock, some animals, so that's gotta stay up there. CBR test is okay, reset switches are checked. Then let's get the latest weather, and we've got QNH 1022. So let's dial that in up here as well. Here we go, 1022. Alright, up here everything else is set, then going down to the RMPs, 1228, 1215 is already set, and the last crew left them in a very good condition, so monitoring VHF1, VHF2, and the interphone cabin and PA system. Very good. Thrust levers idle, engine masters off, the FO RMP is set as well, and that's it. So with those things done, let's go into the FMS setup. So first things first, let's request our company flight plan from SimBrief. While that's going on, we can already open the SID chart since we'll need that in a few moments. And let's turn that to dark mode, I kind of prefer that. Alright, flight plan still on request it seems, but should be there like any moment now. Here we go, received company flight plan and insert that. So, Emirates 7 Charlie November, Heathrow to Dubai, alternate Al Maktoum, flight level 370, cost index 50. And that should be all according to the flight plan as far as I can see. Yep. So, for the weather data then, we have a tropopause in 33,000 and a temperature minus 54. So, minus 54 and tropopause in 33,000. Why is that important? Because the aircraft uses that data to calculate its performance. So then, 31 knot of tailwind, plus always denotes a tailwind, and minus a headwind. So 30, what did I say? 31? Yeah, 31. So tail 31. Alright, now for the IRSs, they are aligning available in 4 minutes. Now our departure is going to be off runway 9 right via the Datling 1 Juliet departure, which we can insert from the temporary flight plan. Then let's go onto the plan mode up here and verify that our entries do match the chart. So straight at 2DME London, which we've got in here, and then it's a right hand turn on until 4DME London, and then a left hand turn inbound to Datling VOR on the bearing 102 by 34 DME, which we have in here, Dat 34. Then we continue to 29 DME between 3 and 6,000. Then we've got 20 DME between 5 and 6,000. Then we have 16 DME at 6,000, 5 DME at 6,000, and then Datling VOR also at 6,000. Now take a good guess what the initial climb might possibly be. 6,000. Alright, so for Dubai, we're landing on 30 left with an ILS approach. Let's see which star we are following today. VTAP 3 Charlie. So, star. VTAP 3 Charlie via Uldot, and then we can go temporary and insert. So then down into the flightplan info and the fix info. On here we want our departure runway, EGLL09 right, and the radial equals the runway heading 089. Okay, return from that, and then we can enter our performance data and nav aids. I do want Heathrow VOR in here, so let's take LON like that, just as a little bit of a backup here. Well then, fuel and load. Let's see what we've got. So zero fuel is 355.6. So zero fuel, 355.6. We don't know a CG yet, so let's just enter 25. And the block fuel we set is going to be 86 tons. Taxi fuel 0.8. Then let's see about the rest. So alternate 4.1, final reserve 5.0. So alternate 4.1 and final reserve 5. So reserve fuel 3%, and that's that for now. So from here on to the takeoff performance, which we once again gotta get from SimBrief. By the way, this is a really cool tool. I really wonder why so few developers have integrated the API into their EFBs. So flaps 1 takeoff at 65 degrees flex temperature. So flaps 1 is in here, then we do flex at 65. And then we have our takeoff speeds, which are going to be 140, 155, 160. So 140, 155, and 160. Alright, packs on, anti-ice off, noise abatement procedure 1, engine out acceleration in 1500, transition altitude 6000, that's all looking good. On the climb page there is nothing more we need to set, so the last thing for us to do is to insert our step climbs. So we can do that down here, step alt, let's see what we've got. So, flight level 390 at Rokva. So, waypoint Rokva. Interesting, why is it? Here we go. There it is, Rokva. Flight level 390. Okay, cool, and that's entered. So in 1,500 miles, that's looking pretty good. I don't believe these numbers down here, as we have already seen on our previous sectors, and that's it. That's everything entered. So let's go over into the EFB and now ensure that our fuel and payload actually gets loaded. So this is looking quite good. Let's do a last minute change to our cargo down here. They just got another 2 tons for us, 154. Which we can load up. And then onto the fuel. We didn't want 84 but 86. Like that, and load. Alright, perfect. And with that, we are pretty much set for everything down here. So let's go ahead and continue with our departure briefing, please. Actually, let's set up the FCU first, shall we? So, QNH 1022, airports and traffic. Initial to 6,000, and you can get an EFIS setup as well. Alright, and that's it. Very good. Alright then, so oxygen test. It's not simulated in here, fine. Then let's go right over here and do our departure briefing. So we're departing off Heathrow, runway 09 right, Datling 1 Juliet departure, initial 6,000, MSA 2,200, and extra fuel and time, about 10 minutes in the form of 2,000 kilos. Thank you very much for that. We have no hotspots for our taxi out, and the stop margin in case of rejected takeoff is, as we can see over here, 179 meters. Now, if we need to make an immediate turn back, we're above the maximum landing weight, but not all that much. Let's see, 386 is our gross weight, and the max landing weight is, well, 386. Okay, so we're actually below the maximum landing weight, so no worries about any overweight landings or stuff like that. Now, if we need to make an immediate turn back, we don't have secondary flight plan simulated, so we have to return via initially radar vectors. I did program our engine outset in here, so blue line for the extended runway center line, and then we just come back by setting up the flight plan ourselves. Alright, I don't have any specials or any non-standards. Do you have anything? No? Wonderful. So that's our briefing completed. Let's do the cockpit preparation checklist. And I do really like those added buttons down here. Of course, they're not realistic, but they just make it so much easier. So, gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity. Checking that everything is balanced. Alright, so that's 86 tons balanced. Barrel ref, QNH 1022. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Alright, very good. Then let's call for GSX to start our pushback. So prepare position for pushback and departure. Handling by Denata. And we certainly don't need de-icing today. Maybe a little bit cold outside, but on the other hand side we also have, well, no icing conditions or stuff like that. Okay, cool. Ground from cockpit. Go ahead. So, you can remove all the ground equipment, please. And you can remove those starters as well. Okay, we'll do our best on the ground equipment. No promises on the starters. Thank you very much. So, we are standing by for the load sheet information, and once we have that, we are gonna get ourselves ready. Okay, thanks. So, our new zero fuel weight is 373. Actually, wait a moment, that cargo in here is wrong. We said we wanted 15,300. Let's load that. 355.7. So this is exactly what you would often have in the real world as well. The final zero fuel weight you get is slightly different from the figures you had in the flight plan. Totally normal, nothing to worry about. CG 33.6. Like that, fuel is unchanged, and then we can go back onto the takeoff page. So 33.5 is our trim, and then we have a gross weight at 441.6. Let's check with our takeoff calculation. We had 441 in here, but 600 kilos taxi fuel easily works, so we are more or less on the safe side here. Alright, very cool. So our takeoff data remains valid. We can keep this. Well, then let's go ahead and set the aircraft up for our flight. So, ground flight. Yeah, go. Okay, we're clear to push. Short push facing west on Bravo. Roger, short push on Bravo. You can release your brakes. Thank you very much. Park and brake is released, and you let us know when we can start the engines, please. Wilco. Alright, before start checklist. So, park and brake. Released. Takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 140, VR 155, V2 160, flex 65. Before start checklist complete. Wonderful. Pushing back at 0901, which is 9 minutes early. So we have a good chance that we're actually landing into the sunset in Dubai, if we are flying quick enough now and if we don't encounter any taxi delays. And I do really appreciate that. So, a little bit of stuttering whenever we're looking back here. I think we're clear of the gate area, so let's start the engines, please. Okay, ground flight starting 1 and 2. Clear 1 and 2. Okay, so engine start is commencing. N3 is increasing, but still slightly lower than N2. That's not entirely correct there. You've got to think about how those engines are made. You've got Rolls-Royce engines on here which have 3 spools. So you've got N3, which is the innermost spool, then you have N2, which is in the middle, and then you have N1, which is the low pressure stage. Now, what we should be aware of is that the starter is actually connected to N3. You can see that down here, since that's the one that has that backlit background there. So for this reason, N3 always needs to be faster than N2, because the air that's displaced by your N3 is actually moving the N2 spool. So for that reason, N3 always needs to be faster than N2, which always needs to be faster than N1. Alright, and we have 2 good starts, starting 3 and 4. And that's some of the logic that goes into those engines. So that's always something that I do happen to notice because, well, you know, that's basic engine start logic. So I do hope that fly-by-wire will eventually be able to update that. But in any case, we shouldn't be too critical. I mean, for a freeware aircraft, this is absolutely marvelous already. Okay, pushback complete, set brakes. Brake set. I mean, just thinking about that, this is available totally for free. It's superb modeling, very, very good systems for freeware. Of course, it's not, you know, it's not as complex as the Phoenix, a PMDG, or even as the Unibuild 350, but for freeware, this is amazing. This is really, really amazing. We really can't overstate that. Alright. So, we have 4 good engine starts. You're clear to disconnect. Show me the pin on the right. Please have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. So, for the trim, we need 33.5. You can see the actual trim move up here on the primary flight display. I'm a bit surprised that it doesn't auto-trim itself, but yeah, if that's what it is, then that's what it is. Perhaps for commonality reasons, even though the A330 already had auto-trim. Alright, 33, yeah, almost there. Here we go, 33.7, fair enough, that's close enough. Okay, very good, so... do we already have the marshaller inside? Yep, there he is, hand signals received. Excellent, so, after start checklist. Anti-ice, off, after start checklist complete. Then let's do the flight control track. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. And neutral. Okay, excellent. So, request taxi, please. So, taxi routing is actually fairly easy. Straight ahead to the end. Let's bring the taxi chart in down here. No, not you, but the other one. Here we go. Okay, so we are standing over here. We're gonna taxi straight ahead via Bravo all the way to the end. So, brake check. Pressure 0. So, let's help a little bit. Bit of thrust to get it right up to, well, perhaps not 30 knots, since Heathrow is a rather congested airport, but you get the idea. In case you're wondering why I'm not using the ANF, or the taxi map down here, that's because I did recently have a couple of instances where engaging that ANF significantly reduced my performance in the fly-by-wire A380. For that reason, I kind of prefer not to use it for the time being. And to be totally honest, with the OIS simulator down here, we basically have the taxi chart straight in our view all the time anyway. So that's nothing to worry about. Okay, so nothing has changed since our departure briefing, so no updates necessary. Yep. Okay, taxi checklist, please. So, flight controls, checked. Flap setting, conv 1 plus F. Radar on, taxi checklist complete. I love it when things go by plan. I gotta say, we're pretty quick as well. 24 minutes into the video and we are already almost at the holding point in London Heathrow. That's normally the time that you're waiting for your slot in Heathrow. once you've already called ready for pushback. So that's going really, really well today. Okay, so let's see. Takeoff takes us initially in a slight right-hand turn, 6,000 feet. We probably shouldn't climb too quickly, even though we are rather light today, since for the A380 this is very, very short flight. What's our takeoff weight here? 441 tons, and yeah, it's certified for 560, so we are 120 tons below the max takeoff weight, even though we have pretty much a full load of passengers and some 15 tons in the hold as well, which is quite amazing if you think about it, isn't it? Okay, so one takes away further and then off to the left-hand side. By the way, did you notice that a lot of the things are spawning in while we are really close already? Really something that I noticed while during this taxi. Look at the buses there. There are even more of them spawning here. That's perhaps something that INI should update in the LODs, because let's be honest, this looks a little bit strange. I totally get the idea that Heathrow is a performance-intensive airport, let's call it like that, especially when combined with an aircraft that takes as much VRAM as the A380 does, but, well, maybe that would be a nice configurator option. I'm going to suggest it, see what they're going to answer. Okay, so lining up runway 09 right. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. And we're cleared for takeoff. So the approach area is clear. Then let's go ahead and line up. Speed down to 10 knots again. Here we go. Okay, line up checklist, please. So, takeoff runway, 09 right, full length. Cabin crew, advised, packs 1 and 2, on, lineup checklist complete. Okay, are you happy with the rolling takeoff? Yes? Awesome. Takeoff. Man flag 65, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. .100 knots, checked.
V1.
Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav. Checked. So, look at the city over there. Really gotta love London. So, off to the right. Thrust climb, climb, auto thrust. Checked. Flaps 0. Speed checked. Flaps 0. So let's see if it's automatically going to tune the deadlink VOR or not. Otherwise I might just about tune it manually, just as a backup over here. Autopilot 1. So, Delta Echo Tango. Here we go, that's tuned now. Okay, we don't have an after takeoff checklist, we just have the flow where we check that the flaps are up, spoilers are disarmed, landing gear is up, and the lights are off, and the packs are on. Okay, 4 degrees, engine anti-ice on. Engine anti-ice is on. Couple of sound issues here. Nothing to worry about, that's since I have my AMD processor. Alright, so we're getting our climb clearance straight away, flight level 150. Open climb alt 15000 blue. And as you can see, I did make the tactical decision here not to remove all those constraints, which would be quite a bit of heads down work right now, but I simply dialed it in and went in open climb. That way the aircraft is just gonna ignore all those constraints anyway. In my opinion, that's the easier solution. And after all, easy solutions is exactly what we're after. Set standard. Standard cross-check, passing flight level 61. Now. Checked. Man, I really hope that Builds is eventually going to include the new Airbus checklist in their A350. Fly-by-wire has done it right, they have the up-to-date checklists. So we no longer need the chrono up here, since our engines are in climb thrust by now, FO doesn't have it in first place, and the elapsed timer is running down here. Very good. Something you can do, if you've got a level 60 restriction down here, and you're above level 60, you just go back into climb then. Okay, that's not exactly correct behavior here. It should just have kept the level 150. This one went back down to 60 in magenta. That's fine. As always, if the Airbus doesn't do what you want it to do, take over. So let's go back to open climb. Alright, engine anti-ice off. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here we go. So that deadlink VOR is definitely correct. In other words, totally happy with the navigation. Bring that chart up again as well, not that it would really matter still. Something I still like about the Navigraph charts is the superimposed aircraft position on them. By the way, in the real world, that comes right from the aircraft. So the connection between the aircraft and your tablet usually, think if you've got the charger plugged in, that also transmits position data, which comes from the GPS. Quite cool. But note that it comes from the GPS and not from the FMS. So if the GPS goes out, your position on the map is going to be lost as well. Right, passing level 100. Lights off, signs off, EFIS CPs are set. And, well, nav aids, you can remove those. And then, last but not least, optimum 390, maximum 410. I don't believe those, I rather trust SimBrief here with a cruise level at 370. So let's go up to flight level 370, and that's going to be it for this part of the flight. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the lovely views on our way towards Dubai. Beautiful sunset over here. However, pilots don't like the sun, so let's get all those shades down. And that last one should be hidden somewhere over there as well. Here we go. Perfect. That's how it would look in the real world here. Okay, so let's go ahead and first of all check what kind of weather we've got. So Dubai 36088, slightly variable, Kavok 27, QNH 1014. So 1014 is pre-selected once and twice. Alright, cool. So let's go down into the charts. We can already set those to night mode. Leave the full screen view, and then we are going to Dubai, Star, and we're arriving via VUTEP if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yep, VUTEP 3 Charlie is the arrival that we've planned. And we have that one down here. The approach itself will be an ILS approach to runway 30 left. And then we need our A380 taxi chart. Down here it is, Code Fox taxi chart. And that's it. Now let's quickly remove those Heathrow charts. We don't need those any longer. And that's it. Very cool. So, nighttime charts please, full screen view, and here we go. So, starting at VUTEP, which is 230 knots below 12,000 feet. And then we've got Lovok below 11,000, Delta Bravo 529er above 8,000, then we continue on towards Padded, 210 knots and above 7,000. We can already see that all those speed restrictions are missing here. Probably a limitation of the fly-by-wire Airbus, I guess. So into the downwind via Delta Bravo 530 below 7,000, and then a couple of points here. That looks pretty much exactly as per the chart, except for that little part back here. But that's because it doesn't have the speed restriction, so once we insert those, things are going to be easy. So then let's move on to our ILS chart. Runway 30 left, and I also want that one in night mode, please. In night mode, please. Yes, no, maybe? No. Okay, well, a little bit bright, but we'll handle that. So, Wildot's 2,000 feet, Setco also in 2,000 feet, and then towards Modus also in 2,000 feet, pretty big glide slope thereafter, and down to a minimum of 260. The missed approach is straight at Delta Bravo 707. Maximum 210, and then left turn track 284 towards Agnot to 3,000, and that's exactly what we've got down here. Alright, so then let's go on with the performance, and the speeds are looking good. Then let's go for the weather data. We have 36088, 27 degrees, 1014. So 360 with 8, 27 degrees, and 1014. We set the minimum is at 260. 260, and then let's choose a config 3 landing here. 143 knots on the final is good, and the engine out, go around 3000 is our missed approach altitude, 3800 PMSA, so we are gonna choose 3000. Pretty much like this. Perfect. Alright, we don't really have a secondary flight plan, so nothing to do up there. Fuel and load page is checked, 8.6 tons extra, that's yeah, roughly an hour-ish. A little bit less, 45 minutes. We'll use auto brakes low, as I'm a bit afraid to go into the OANS, respectively in the ANF, depending on which Airbus generation you want to talk about. So let's just use low over here instead of BGV. I'm a bit afraid of my performance. Alright, cool. And that's all those entries that we had to do completed. Then let's go into the briefing. Okay, thanks. So we're going to fly an ILS approach runway 30 left, VTAP 3 Charlie arrival, and the minimum is 260 feet. Go around straight at Delta Bravo 707, left turn to ECNOT climbing 3000, and 210 is our first speed restriction. There shouldn't be any problem at all. Yeah, 210 is above our clean speed, so we can retract the flaps all the way. Now, extra fuel and time, we have 45 minutes in our tanks. Alright, thank you very much for that. So, we are going to fly the approach with flight director guidance, ILS approach, standard ILS, nothing fancy over there. Landing flaps 3, we will use the reversers in order to reduce our turnaround time, and we'll vacate the runway to the left-hand side. No hotspots for the taxi in, and I have nothing special or non-standard. Anything on your side? No? Perfect, so that's our briefing completed. Then let's say goodbye to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We will start our descent towards Dubai soon, and the remaining flight time is approximately half an hour. The weather in Dubai currently 27 degrees and clear skies. Would like to thank you very much for choosing Emirates on today's flight. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we look forward to welcoming you again on board with a future service. Thank you very much for your attention, thank you for flying with us, and we wish you a nice and pleasant day. Alright, cool. So, let's just go ahead and figure out those lights over here. I think this is probably looking quite good, isn't it? We'll just leave it like that. Then let's go ahead and dim our displays a bit. Like middle setting for everything. Including you. And that's it. And if we're on it already, let's dim the OIT as well. Alright, very good. So that's our setup done, that's our briefing done. We have talked to the passengers, so that's everything we had to do. Then let's continue our flights to our destination and enjoy the beautiful views, as we can already see Dubai come into view on the horizon over there. And here we are, right over Dubai. Just look at how absolutely beautiful the city looks at night. But the world over here, very few lights on the world though. And then just look at this city. Just amazing, isn't it? So let's go right back inside. ATC did keep us a little bit high. Which is the reason why we are currently still flying 310 knots. But of course all with ATC approval. And well, then we are passing 10,000, so let's go ahead and do the 10,000 foot descent flow. Basically there's really not all that much to do. I just love the simplicity of the A380. And then we can go ahead and read the approach checklist, please. So, barrel reference, QNH 1014. Minimum, Bravo 260, auto brake, low, approach checklist completed. So we beam the airport in 9,000, but with full speed brakes, so I don't think that that's going to be a problem at all. You can stow away the sunshades here. Thank you very much. And just look out at this. Really amazing. Okay, so let's continue descending down to 7,000, please. Honestly, I could get used to flying this. I absolutely could. It's nicer from the left seat though, isn't it? Alright, so let's go down to 2,000, and from there we are going to start our final turn. So that's 2,000 blue. We'll keep the speed up at 250. I didn't bother inserting those speed restrictions anymore after it became clear that ATC would keep us up high. Well, and with that we're about to get into a good position for the approach, basically once we're a beam set po. Modus is the final approach fix in 2000 feet, exactly a beam. We need 2 minutes to get down there, plus a bit of time to lose our airspeed, so basically we can start our final turn in a couple of moments here. So, heading, let's insert a direct modus so that our flight plan is sequenced. Here we go, direct modus, and then we can go back in a heading mode and turn right heading 210. Okay, it's pulling a couple Gs. Look at the VLS over here. Look at that. Nice to see whenever it's pulling G-forces. Alright then, let's activate the approach phase. Confirm. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. But that's gonna get VLS down rather significantly. So, with that speed in the base, let's turn further right, heading 270, cleared ILS approach, runway 30 left. Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2, glide slope localizer blue. And I think that heading leads us perfectly towards modus. Passing 200 knots, and we're about 10 miles out. Very close to the glide. I tend to say that's a pretty good position. Okay then, let's get down, intercept that glide slope. Lock star. Speed, glide slope star. Go around altitude 3000 set, flaps 2. Speed checked, flaps 2. So 165 knots until 4 DME, that is what they want here in Dubai.
2,500.
Checked. Now look at this with the last bits of sunlight still up. That's amazing, isn't it? Really, really amazing. Okay, glide slope. Gear down. So I'll get the flaps out already. Flaps 3. Speed checks. Flaps 3. Landing checklist. Become memo. Landing no blue. Landing checklist complete. Okay, manual flight. We'll maintain the speed until we are at 40 DME. Let's see if we can reduce the glare here a little bit. Those main panel floodlights and pedestal floodlights to half. Very good. Right, reaching 40 DME, manage speed. And here we go. It decelerates rather nicely. Small wind shift here. And here we go. Alright, pretty much stable at the gate. That looks pretty awesome, doesn't it? FS 2024 just looks so incredibly good. So, remember to flare at 50, otherwise things are gonna go southbound pretty quickly in the A380. It is a huge mass after all.
500. 500.
Checked. Come on, speed. Go up again. I don't want to correct too strong now.
400.
Here we go. Land. Checked. A little bit of wind from the right.
100 above. 300.
Checked.
Minimum
Continue.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 5.
Spoilers, reverse green, brake slow. Manual brakes.
Auto brake on.
Okay, and with that, welcome to Dubai. Let's get a timer running. Do some manual brake to vacate to the next exit. And then we'll go off the runway to the left-hand side. So that was about as minimum runway occupancy as we reasonably could do. So that's what they'll have to be happy with. Alright then, let's clean it up. And then, gate Alpha 5, right on our left. We don't have an after landing checklist. It's rather dark here, so I'll just keep the lights on for a little bit here, but let's see if we can quickly order some GSX marshalling. So, Alpha 5. No follow me needed. So, lights off. The guidance system is coming on, very good. I have to say, Dubai looks quite amazing at night. The new IndyBuilds Dubai Premium is quite a way forward from the old one. It really is. So, A380, 800 on the guidance. Okay, parking brake set, APU on, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dubai. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay, wonderful. So, round about 6 hours 5 or something the likes. That's pretty good for a flight like this. Okay, and here we are. Ground flight deck, hello. Hello there. So, please confirm, aircraft is in a good shape, and ground power unit is connected. Thank you very much. The plane is excellent. Don't touch it. Alright, very cool. So, let's get GSX for the deboarding, and then parking checklist, please. Park and brake our trucks. Brake set. Wing light. Off. And fuel pumps should have been sensed automatically. For some reason they're not, but that's fine. We'll just override that. Okay, parking checklist complete. Thank you very much, my friends. It was a pleasure flying with you today. We'll just do the post-flight stuff here. So fuel used 68.9. Let's have a look up here what we were supposed to use. 72.1 plus taxi, so we did save a little bit of fuel over here, which is probably because we just flew a very quick approach, stayed up a little bit longer, so that's fine. Then, position monitor page is not simulated, that's okay. Let's see if we can get that data from the IRS page over here. Nah, not really. Okay. Well, that doesn't really matter. So, well, here we are. I hope you all enjoyed your Emirates flight on the flagship Airbus A380. I have to say, two very good looking sceneries from indie builds over here with both Dubai and London. At this point, once again, thank you very much for supplying those. And with all of that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video, as I'm really looking forward to that. And as always, if you like the video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.